All right, I guess we should probably go ahead and get started. Thank you all so much for joining our webinar here today. We are super excited to be presenting today and for having everyone attend. Today's webinar is going to focus on how learning and development teams can drive and maximize ROI with MapleLMS. We're going to discuss and show you how this is possible and explain how this approach can profoundly affect your bottom line, ROI, and save cost as well as time. But before we get started, let me introduce our team here, and I'll start with myself. My name is Joe Stern, and I'm a sales and business development manager here at MapleLMS, and I'm based in Washington, D.C., just south of our headquarters in Bethesda, Maryland. With me today are Matt Peterson, our relationship director, and Avin, one of our customer training managers. But I'll turn it over to them to introduce themselves, and I'll start with Matt.
Yeah, thanks, Joe. I'm happy to be here and excited about this topic. I hope our audience is as well. My name is Matt Peterson. I'm the relationship director with MapleLMS. I've been with the company about 4 years, and I work with our clients and prospects in finding the right solution for their training and education needs. Over to you, Avin. Nice to have you with us.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Joe, and very good afternoon to our audience today. My name is Avin. I'm a key account manager and a customer training manager with MapleLMS. I've been with the company for about 4 years and been involved in quite a few projects. So happy to be here. Back to you.
Great. Thank you, Avin. Thank you, Matt. So everyone, we have a full agenda to cover here today, from understanding the core benefits of MapleLMS and how that is tied to boosting your organization's ROI. And then we'll be showing a live demonstration of how this is possible. And if anyone has any questions throughout this, you can submit them in the Q&A box, and we'll be happy to address them. Next slide, please. Perfect. So here's our agenda today. We have some great topics to discuss. We're going to be diving into how ROI turns training into a business driver and how it impacts performance, retention, and revenue. And without the right technology, training is hard to scale, track, or improve. We'll also be covering how an LMS can centralize training, enable faster onboarding, automate delivery, track progress, and provide essential data, all of which are critical to learning and development success. And with robust reporting capabilities, you can also monitor the results. Furthermore, AI can personalize learning and deliver insights to make training more effective and ROI-focused. And with an ROI-driven approach, it improves learning and aligns learning and development with business goals. And with integrations to tools like Salesforce or HRMS systems, you can streamline processes and connect learning to business results. We'll also walk you through a live demo of MapleLMS and explore how it tracks learning outcomes, links them to business KPIs, and provides actionable insights, all from a single centralized system. So to wrap up here on the agenda, ROI isn't optional. It's the key to learning and development strategic relevance. And with the right technology, especially an LMS like MapleLMS, you can transform training from a cost and to a competitive advantage. But I'll now turn it over to Avin for the next slide.
Yeah, and to begin with, I first wanted to talk about why ROI matters in learning and development. And let's face it, learning and development can no longer just be a nice to have. In today's business environment, every investment is expected to deliver measurable results and outcomes. And L&D is no exception to that. So, return on investment gives us a clear way to evaluate the impact on our training programs. It's not just about counting completions or certificates. It's about answering critical questions like, are we improving performance? Are we reducing compliance risk? Are we speeding up onboarding? And when we track ROI, we shift learning and development from being a cost center to a strategic enabler, one that drives productivity, retention, and growth. And when we can prove that impact with data, we gain executive buy-in, budget, and influence. And that's why measuring ROI isn't just important, it's essential for the future of learning. So on these slides, we've also listed down some pros and cons of using a learning management system as well as not using a learning management system. So we're talking about some advantages and disadvantages of using and not using a learning management system. Firstly, let's talk about advantages. So one of one of the biggest advantages is clearly that an LMS becomes your centralized system, offering centralized learning delivery. So you have a single system to create, manage, and deliver education, create, manage, and deliver trainings. You can track real-time data and reporting with an LMS, which is clearly not possible when you don't have a system in place. Um, Also, one of the advantages is that it automates some administrative tasks for you. So there could be quite a few administrative tasks involved in your learning and development process. We'll talk a little bit about that as we move forward in this presentation. And then comes scalability and consistency. So obviously, when there are too many manual efforts involved, scalability becomes a challenge. And that's one of the biggest advantages of using a learning management system is scalability and maintaining consistency. Also, with a learning management system, you can empower your learners, maybe staff or customers um, or different type of an individual to learn anytime, anywhere, and on any device, because it's a system that works online as long as you have a smartphone, tablet, maybe a laptop, you can log in and you can maybe take a training or maybe take a course. And also, overall, one of the biggest advantages I would say is improved ROI measurement. So a learning management system can come with data points which are essential to track return on investment. And we'll see some of that as well as we move on. But those were a few advantages that I wanted to highlight. And briefly talking about some disadvantages that you see here is manual tracking and reporting. That's one of the biggest disadvantages of not having a learning system. So you're manually not just building out your content, but also it takes manual efforts to track who completed. Once you have that data, once you have manually generated the data, you then have to build out a report out of it. And then you can identify some insights out of it, but it's a lengthy process. It's a time-consuming process. Apart from that, I would say inconsistent learning experience is also one of the disadvantages of not using a learning management system. Because with a LMS, you can build out trainings quickly. You can create courses and many different types of trainings, have them delivered at the same time to a wide range of audience. But learning experience in a non-LMS environment becomes tricky for an end user. So it's usually attending an in-person session, maybe in the office, maybe somewhere else, or maybe attending a virtual session, both of which are not too convenient. Also, limited scalability. So if you don't have a system in place, you're going to struggle with scalability. It'd be challenging for you to reach out to a wider audience or provide that education to a large group of individuals in your organization. Mainly, if you're an organization who has more than 500, say 600 employees, or maybe more than that, it's kind of difficult to train all of these in continuation and ensure that they're learning at the same time and that we're tracking data appropriately. And with that comes long-term cost. So obviously, if you're not using a system in place, with all the manual efforts that we are putting in, there will be costs. These are training costs, maybe cost to deliver an effective training session, maybe a cost to build out content or cost to build out course, or even cost to track data and generate some reports out of it. Lastly, If you don't have a system in place, it's hard to link. It's difficult to link your training to an individual's performance. So we're talking about two things. We're talking about training data and we're talking about performance data. And the best results would be when you have both these data points combined. So you have a single view of a combined data, which helps you track not just progress, but also see the effectiveness of the training by gauging the performance of an individual pre and post training. But briefly, those were a few advantages and disadvantages that I wanted to highlight over here. And from here, let's move on further in our presentation. And I wanted to talk a little bit about why learning and development fails without the right technology. I've listed out quite a few points over here. Um, I would say all of these apply in all scenarios, in all types of organizations. So even the best designed um, learning strategy can fall flat if it's built on the wrong technology or no technology at all. And without the right tools, we often end up with a generic one size fits all training that misses the mark for learners. There's no personalization, and that leads to low engagement and poor knowledge retention. Now, worse, we can't track ROI or prove business impact. So learning and development becomes invisible when it's time to allocate budgets. Also, manual processes, so high admin efforts. And manual processes and disconnected systems also mean high administrative effort. Scalability becomes a nightmare, and we're constantly at risk of non-compliance. And then there are tech silos. So HR tools, LMS, CRM, all speaking different languages. And the result? A fragmented experience both for learners and administrators. So the truth is, without the right technology foundation, even the most well-intentioned learning and development initiatives struggle to gain traction or trust. And with that, briefly, we just talked about some of these um, the reasons why learning and development fails: no personalization, no ROI tracking, low engagement, high admin efforts, scalability issues, compliance risk, and obviously tech silos. From here, let's move on further and also look at how a learning management system solves these learning and development challenges. So, how do we overcome the challenges we just talked about? This is where modern learning management systems become a game changer. First, with AI-driven personalizations, learners can get content that's tailored to their roles, goals, and skill gaps, making training more relevant and impactful. You also get real-time data and analytics, so you're not just tracking course completions, you're measuring learning progress, engagement, and return on investment. Now, this directly leads to improved employee retention and development. So people stay longer and grow faster when learning is meaningful and accessible. Tasks like enrollment, reminders, issuing certifications, all of it could be automated, freeing up valuable admin time. And whether you're training 50 or 50,000 learners across multiple regions, a good learning management system provides a scalable global platform that adapts as you grow, maybe with multiple languages or maybe with um segregation of your users by departments or maybe by regions. It's also compliance friendly with built-in tracking, audit trails, and reporting to ensure you never miss a deadline. And finally, integration is seamless with a third-party system. So that could be an HRMS, could be a CRM, or other enterprise tools. So your learning ecosystem works in harmony, not in silos. With the right LMS, L&D becomes smarter, faster, and far more strategic. But with that, let's move ahead. And I briefly wanted to introduce or talk about some AI-powered LMS tools that you can look out for. for your ROI-driven trainings. And to truly drive ROI from training, we need more than just content. We need intelligence, and that's where AI-powered LMS tools come into play. First, we have intelligent learning paths that adapt in real time based on learner's role, performance, and behavior. So no more guesswork, just targeted, relevant learning at the right moment. Then there's predictive analytics. And these tools can forecast future skill gaps, dropout risk, and even help you identify your top performers easily. Assessments also get smarter. So with AI generated quizzes and instant feedback, learners receive personalized insights that boost retention and performance. And you also get continuous skill gap analysis. So instead of annual reviews or static evaluations, you're constantly tracking where learners stand and what they need next. I'll briefly talk about smart scheduling and nudges, and this is to ensure that learning doesn't get buried in a busy inbox. Automated reminders, calendar integrations, and AI timing help drive higher completion rates. And finally, the ROI dashboard and impact tracking pull all of this together, showing you the business value of training in real time, from productivity gains to compliance rates. Now, with AI, your LMS isn't just delivering content, it's delivering impact. But with that, I'm going to move ahead and pass it along to Matt to briefly talk about some top LMS features that empower L&D teams.
Yeah, thank you, Avin. Investing in the right learning management system just isn't about delivering courses. It's really about enabling your learning and development team to be more strategic, scalable, and impactful. LMS systems are often packed with many features, but I want to highlight 6 features that make all the difference when it's related to your learning and development teams. Imagine never having to manually track course progress, send follow-up reminders, or issue certificates again. An automated learning workflow for certifications or compliance can all be set up within an LMS. It'll guide your users through sequenced content based on their role, their department, or their performance, and it'll automatically issue certifications upon completion. So this not only saves time, but ensures compliance and consistency across your organization. Learning doesn't have to be dull. Gamification elements like points, badges, leaderboards, and levels turn passive consumption into active participation. And for learning and development teams, this means higher course completion rates, better knowledge retention, and learners who are genuinely excited about coming back. Long training sessions are out. Short, focused bursts of learning are in, and this is where micro-learning can come into play. It'll allow your team to break content into digestible, just-in-time modules that learners can complete in under 10 minutes. And it's especially useful for the busy professional who needs actionable insights without sitting through hour-long virtual training sessions. The fourth one I wanted to highlight was the social learning communities. Learning doesn't have to happen in a vacuum. Built-in discussion forums, peer feedback tools, and cohort-based learning experiences can create space for collaboration, questions, and shared insights. And whether you're training internal teams or external members, social learning builds community and drives deeper engagement. Also, external credit importer for CE credits. This is a feature that we have. And your LMS shouldn't be a closed system. With an external credit importer, learners can bring in CEU credits or training they have attended, earned outside of your platform. And this will ensure that their full learning journey is recognized. This is especially valuable for organizations that fully support self-learning, education, and training outside of their organization. Finally, AI-driven content. If you have a need to create a quiz, write a course summary, or maybe convert a long policy document into a lesson, AI tools like ChatGPT are now integrated into modern LMS platforms and can help generate and adapt content quickly. This gives learning and development teams a powerful head start in content creation without sacrificing quality or personalization. And I'll mention, just stay tuned. Later, we're going to show you some of these great features in action in the demo portion of our presentation. So moving along, I wanted to talk about how you can maximize your ROI through an LMS platform. So when you think about return on investment in training and development, it's certainly about cutting costs, but it's also about creating long-term value for your people and your organization. And here's how a smart learning management system can help you get there. We did mention reduced training costs, and I think it's one of the number one benefits of an LMS and an immediate benefit. It's usually tied to reduction in costs, tied to traditional training. So no more printing of manuals, booking meeting rooms, or flying in trainers. Instead, content is centralized, reusable, and scalable, and you can easily train 10 or 10,000 people without increasing your overhead a penny. Next is faster onboarding and upskilling. An LMS will streamline this experience, giving new hires instant access to role-specific content, policies, and training, all in one place. And for existing employees, upskilling becomes much faster with targeted learning paths, micro-learning, and just-in-time content. That means less downtime and more productivity sooner. Also, you should experience improved employee performance. Well-trained employees perform better. It's that simple. By giving them access to the right learning at the right time, you're equipping your team to make better decisions, solve problems faster, and really work more efficiently. With progress tracking and assessments, you can easily identify knowledge gaps early on and provide support before they become performance issues. Alongside this is higher retention and engagement. Employees who feel invested in are more likely to stay. A strong LMS shows your people that you care about their growth. Add in features like certifications, career development tracks, and gamified learning. And suddenly, training isn't just a task, it's a meaningful part of your culture. Finally, we also have data-driven insights. Your LMS should do more than just deliver content. It should deliver insights with real-time data on course completion, quiz scores, learning engagement, surveying employees on training programs. You'll get a clear picture of what's working and where you may need to adjust. And this will help learning and development teams prove their impact with tangible metrics. Finally, we have aligning learning with your business goals, and this is probably the most important one. A good LMS will allow you to align learning with your strategic objectives, whether it's increasing customer satisfaction, improving compliance, preparing teams for future leadership roles. When learning is tied to your KPIs and your business outcomes, your investment pays off in measurable ways. Next, we're going to move along. I'm going to talk a little bit about integration. This has been mentioned, but this can really maximize your LMS's ROI. MapleLMS is designed seamlessly to integrate with systems your organization already uses, reducing manual tasks and enabling smarter workflows. And these are some of the most common tools we integrate with to ensure a unified ecosystem. And I'll also discuss how these can impact your ROI. One of the most common integrations that we typically do is a CRM integration, such as Salesforce, Zoho, HubSpot, Dynamics 365. Through this integration, you can sync learner data, automate training and assignments based on sales roles, and track course progress inside your CRM. This is going to reduce employee ramp-up time, increase productivity and performance, and it can be combined with any other CRM data for great insights around how training is impacting results. For example, how it's impacting sales and satisfaction with your sales and support teams. Next would be an HRMS integration, such as Workday, SAP, SuccessFactors, for employee lifecycle alignment. It's going to automatically assign onboarding and compliance courses to your new employees based on their job roles and departments. Faster onboarding equals quicker time to productivity, which equals cost savings. Also, we have video conferencing tools such as Zoom or Microsoft Teams for virtual sessions and blended learning. Integrating your LMS with web conferencing platforms means live training sessions become seamless. So no juggling between platforms or manually tracking attendance. Learners can join virtual classrooms directly from the LMS, while trainers can pull attendance records, engagement analytics, and even completion tracking. So the ROI comes into play here with saving time on the administrative and the follow-ups, improving attendance and participation, and making it easier to scale instructor-led sessions without extra overhead. Also, it may be helpful to integrate content libraries such as BizLibrary, LinkedIn Learning, Coursera. This can bring in external off-the-shelf content from these providers while maintaining centralized reporting. So by pulling in high-quality courses from trusted external providers, you can expand your training catalog instantly without having to create everything in-house. Learners get access to relevant professional content aligned with your business goals, while your learning and development team saves time and effort. So the ROI comes into play here. It's going to cut down on your costs on content development. It's going to offer just-in-time learning opportunities, and it's going to keep your team and your content current with industry trends and skills. The final one I want to mention was communication and productivity apps such as Slack, Microsoft Teams. This can help to deliver prompts, updates, or micro-learning within platforms employees already use. And when your LMS talks to these internal communication tools, you can easily push reminders, course updates into the flow of work. So imagine a Slack message reminding someone their compliance training is due, or a Teams notification congratulating a learner for completing a leadership module. The ROI comes into play because it'll increase course completion rates through timely nudges, keep learners top of mind without disrupting productivity, and reinforce a culture of continuous learning in everyday channels. Next, we're going to move along in our presentation, and we're going to talk about the different teams you may have within your organization and how that's going to benefit those teams. When training is tied to clear, measurable outcomes, it really becomes a strategic growth engine. So here's how ROI-focused training supports different teams throughout your organization. For learning and development managers, one of the biggest challenges is showing the real value of learning programs. So with ROI-driven training, you get the data to prove it, from course completion rates to knowledge gains to performance improvement. And that means more confidence when asking for budget increases and more credibility with leadership. For HR teams, when employees feel their growth matters, they're going to stay longer. A well-executed training program shows you're investing in their development, which is going to boost employee morale and reduce turnover. And fewer resignations mean less time and money spent recruiting, rehiring, and retraining. For trainers, they want to know their sessions are hitting the mark. ROI-focused tools provide real-time feedback and performance data, helping trainers adjust content to be more effective, personalized, and engaging. And for employees or learners, your ROI-driven training means more than just check-the-box compliance. It becomes a tool for real career growth for them. When employees can see how a course leads to a new skill, promotions, or better performance reviews, they're motivated to stay engaged. For your leadership teams, executives want to know how training moves the needle. With dashboards and analytics in a modern LMS, they can see exactly how learning impacts productivity, performance, and business goals. And it really turns training from an expense line into an investment with clear returns. Your finance leaders will love the ROI-driven training, provides very much transparency. They can compare dollars spent on programs versus performance outcomes and savings from reduced turnover or efficiency gains from upskilled teams. For your sales teams, sales training that's tied to ROI focuses on real outcomes, closing more deals, reducing ramp up time for new reps, and boosting customer satisfaction. When training is measured against sales KPIs, it's easier to identify what works and to do more of it. And for your IT and compliance teams, ROI shows up as a reduced risk and saves time. Automated tracking, alerts, and reportings help ensure that no one misses a required certification or a compliance update, and you don't have to chase people around manually. That means less risk, more control, and peace of mind. So in short, when training is aligned with ROI, every department wins. It becomes easier to secure funding, demonstrate impact, retain talent, and improve performance, all while creating a more engaged, capable workforce. Next, we're going to talk a little bit about MapleLMS for business learning. So in today's fast-paced, skills-driven economy, companies need more than just an LMS. They need a platform that aligns learning with their business performance. And MapleLMS is purpose-built for that, and I want to cover a few reasons why. AI-driven personalization. So gone are the days one-size-fits-all training. MapleLMS can use AI to tailor learning paths based on each user's roles, their goal, their past performance, their engagement style. And so whether it's a new sales rep or a seasoned IT manager, they get the right content at the right time in the format that suits them best. And this will keep learners motivated, shorten ramp-up time, and deliver the best outcomes. Next up are real-time analytics and ROI dashboards. Business leaders want to know, is this training working? And this will answer that question in real time. You'll get powerful dashboards that track completion rates, skill development, engagement, and business KPIs. And you can slice this data by team, location, job function. You can even tie it back to their performance metrics or sales outcomes. And the bottom line is you no longer have to guess whether training is effective. You'll have numbers to prove it. Next, we talked a little bit about integration already, but wanted to highlight that MapleLMS integrates effortlessly with systems your team already uses, whether it be Salesforce, HRS, platforms like Workday, collaboration tools like Microsoft Teams or Slack, webinar platforms like Zoom, and even credentialing systems. And this is going to deliver with no double data entry, automate user provisioning, smooth sign-on experiences, and a unified tech stack that your IT team will love. It's really designed to fit into your ecosystem and certainly not disrupt it. Gamification and social learning tools, they're going to keep employees engaged in learning and keep your employees challenged. MapleLMS meets them where they are with built-in gamification like badges, points, leaderboards, and community tools like discussion boards, feedback, group projects. Learning becomes very interactive and social. And whether you're onboarding new hires, running leadership development, or rolling out compliance training, learners will stay more engaged, and that means better results. So as a final thought, MapleLMS is built to drive business learning that's personalized, data-driven, deeply integrated, and actually engaging. It just doesn't check the boxes. It's going to deliver impact. So next, I'm going to turn it over to Avin, and we're going to go into a live demo where he's going to show you some of the valuable tools and also the data and analytics that will help you reveal your ROI on your learning and development programs.
All right, perfect. I'm just gonna go back from the slide and jump right into one of our platforms. So we're looking at a MapleLMS site right now, or MapleLMS environment over here, and I'm logged in as an administrator. I wanted to walk you through some of the capabilities we discussed about on this webinar so far. So items around personalization, also around tracking different data points, which also includes tracking competencies of an individual. So there will be a lot more You can start off by building out maybe courses that are compliance specific, maybe around business ethics or some general courses as needed within your system. This is what it could look like. And a compliance training can have mandatory modules, can have mandatory activities that a participant needs to complete. So maybe watching a few presentations or some videos, passing a compliance training quiz. And this also brings me to one gamification item that we briefly talked about. So this over here is a leaderboard, and I'm looking at this report for the leaderboard. I can see a list of individuals enrolled, their level, their points they've achieved, and their progress as well. So we can have such leaderboards, which really help, well, drive more engagement and encourage your participants to complete a training or complete a module as early as possible, so they can earn points, and they can earn points for completing some of these activities inside a compliance training course. Apart from that, we talked about personalization, so recommendations as well. And as an end user, I can find recommendations inside the system. So it could identify my interest, also my past engagement. I can get AI-based recommendations from within the LMS as well. So it's recommending me to take a CompTIA certification course. Um, your users or your learners are also equipped with tracking, so they can track any items that need to be completed, maybe attending an in-person event or a virtual session or submitting a questionnaire or a feedback survey. But there are many different ways on how we can build out trainings. We can also build out certification learning paths, which could be collection or series of trainings that an individual needs to do. And we talked about workflows, so a lot can be automated. So, for example, let's say we have some onboarding courses or training that an individual needs to go through. So soon as they get access to the learning site, they could be automatically assigned an onboarding training course or maybe a learning path, which they may complete at their own pace. So really quite a few capabilities, but let's dive into some data points as well. Firstly, I'm going to start with this dashboard inside the LMS. So this dashboard is the analytics dashboard, and it's got quite a few widgets, data points to look at. Let's quickly scroll through some of these so we can track our popular courses. We can track who's logged in. We can track the overall progress for a compliance training as well. And if I just hover around, I'll see the numbers. So I have 2 participants who've got 100% completion and about 6 who fall between 0 to 20% of completion. Uh, Speaking of completion, we also talked about tracking course completion rate. So on this block to the left, I do have a filter to filter out by course completion rate, and I've striked out active users and course enrollment. So now we are looking at just the data for course completion rates. So it looks like, and I'm looking at annual data. So this is for 1 year. And it looks like our course completion rate really spiked around December, and by the end of December or mid-December, we could say, but then it has been consistent for a specific period of time. And clearly you have options to export to. We can dive into more. We can see who these active users are or what the completion rate is. Similarly, let's say if we were to track engagement and progress by individuals, maybe for a compliance training course, we can do that here as well. So I'll just search for a compliance training course, and I've got quite a few. Let's take this as a reference. I've got 8 participants, 2 who have completed, and 6 who are between 0 to 20% of progress. So I can click into it. I can see who those users are. But again, we're still looking at this data at a very early stage. From an ROI perspective, we'll have some more analytics to look at, and we'll see some of that in a bit. Now, let's say you offer a learning path. So how do we track a learning path? There's a dedicated report for it. Shows you a list of individuals who are enrolled into your learning path, the dependencies, which are individual courses that need to be completed by the participants. And then you have progress tracking for each individual, not just overall, but progress within each of the courses that they're participating in the overall learning path. We'll talk a little bit about skills and analyzing skill of an individual. We refer to that as a competency. So some of our dashboards, for example, here can help you monitor any learning plans and track what competencies your employees or your learners are proficient with. So we're looking at a record for Scott Davis. It's got about 3 competencies assigned. They're not rated yet, meaning he's not proficient yet. Let's go to a different individuals. Now that's my account, and I've got about 2 competencies proficient out of 3. We can see what those competencies are. So it sounds like this user is proficient with strategic thinking, has been rated in a course as proficient as well, has been rated competent by the system. And additionally, we have an option to adjust the rating as well if we feel like. But this is how we can track if individuals or participants are proficient with a particular skill or not. Um, and now this could be in several ways. You may have individuals take an assessment or take an entire course, which is linked to a competency. And once they complete it, once they pass it, they're automatically rated as competent or not competent. Next, I'm going to move you to an example of a combined data and some actionable insights we can look at over here. Briefly, I'll first briefly explain what this dashboard is and what I mean by combined data. So technically, we are now in a different environment. We're not in the LMS. We are into Salesforce right now. So this would be a CRM. So maybe for organizations who use a CRM or maybe an HRMS system, we could have such a dashboard where we can track different data points that indicate the effectiveness of training and how that impacts the overall performance of an individual. So I've got data points for 2 different teams over here. I've got data points for support as well as for the sales team. And let's start with revenue by sales. So we're looking at pre and post training data. The bar on the left-hand side indicates the amount of revenue generated by this representative, Emily, over here before any training was assigned. And we could see a quick shift in that. So there has been, well, sounds like after the training, Emily ended up achieving a revenue of 75,000, which was 55K previously. And similarly, we can see that engagement and growth with pretty much all of our sales representatives, but just in case if you were to identify who falls apart or who's not progressing, we'll have that data here as well. But this is what it could look like to track revenue by sales revenue. This is a clear indication that the training has been effective. So maybe they were assigned a few courses around maybe sales, and eventually they ended up increasing their overall revenue after taking some trainings. Also about win rates, which is also one of the most important factors. So what's your win rate? Particularly if you're in sales, win rate matters. And if your win rate goes up, that means your revenue goes up as well, meaning you close more deals, you have more sales, and you're generating more revenue for the organization. And what we're doing here is we're simply tracking a win rate before and after a training. So this dashboard again indicates my win rate or win rate of these individuals before and after training. So again, if we take an example of Mark Johnson over here, his win rate was about 45 or 45%. So meaning he was able to close 45% of the deals, 45% of the leads that were assigned, and now that's gone up to 60%. So that's a 15% hike in performance in win rate. And now that again indicates that your sales team has been performing great after the training. And really a clear visualization of this data through these bar charts, previous data. So this would be pre-training data, this would be post-training data, and how those metrics give us insights. Scrolling down, let's also look at some data for support teams. So we're looking at case resolution time, pre and post training. Now that's something which you don't want to go up, or which you don't want your support teams to go up. So it's best that your case resolution time comes as low as possible. And that basically means that a representative is able to resolve maybe a support query or a ticket more efficiently, quickly, and in a timely manner. So if we look at these numbers over here, I've got about 5 representatives on this dashboard. We're looking at their case resolution time, pre and post training data. So these over here, in fact, let's take an example of Karen. So Karen had a case resolution time of about 7.1. That was before taking any training. And Karen ended up completing a few trainings and a few courses within a learning management system, which eventually helped her to drop that case resolution time significantly. So all the way to 4.5 from 7.1. So that's really a big step. Also, on the right, within tracking support cases resolved versus number of courses, now you might structure this differently, but it shows a trend that we're resolving more support cases after completing several trainings and after completing several courses. So over here, the number of completed courses was about 6 by your support team, and the number of cases they ended up resolving was about 50. If we go back maybe to some previous data, we'll see that there were just 2 courses completed, and by then only 25 cases were being resolved by the support team overall, or maybe on an average. But overall, such dashboards or such data points show you the effectiveness of training and also a return on investment. If you ever ended up buying an LMS and if you see these numbers, then that's a clear indication that you're doing great. But with that, I'll conclude my demonstration for now and move back to our slides. I'm going to redirect back to Matt from here. Matt, or maybe Joe.
Yeah, Joe,
Sorry about
you
that.
want
Let me
to?
unmute myself. Yeah, sorry about that. Thank you, Avin, so much for the great demo there. Really enjoyed it. And as we wrap up, today's session, let's take a moment to reflect on what we've explored. So ROI and training is no longer just a nice to have. It's an absolute requirement if we want to align learning with measurable business impact. And with MapleLMS, you're not just implementing a tool, you're unlocking the power of AI, automation, and deep analytics to elevate how training is delivered, measured, and optimized. From reducing cost and manual workload to improving compliance and learner engagement, MapleLMS enables your learning and development programs to scale globally while staying personalized. And I saw we have a question in the audience about learning personalization. We'll address that here shortly. And with MapleLMS's seamless integrations to HRMS systems and CRMs like Salesforce, it will enable your organization to eliminate data silos and move in sync. So if you're looking to not just train, but transform your workforce, now is the time to future-proof your learning investments with MapleLMS so you can drive smarter training and real ROI. Next slide, please. And before we conclude, let's look at outstanding questions we have. I know we had one that I just had mentioned. Let's go ahead and looks like we have a number of questions here. Let's go to one that we had, a great question. How does MapleLMS personalize learning to improve learner engagement and completion rates? Very good question. Matt or Avin, do you guys want to address that one?
Yeah, I'll hop into that. We talked about some tools, and I'm glad Avin kind of pointed out the competency-based education that MapleLMS supports, and that makes us a little unique. But the whole idea is to make education individualized and adapt the learning platform based on the learner. So he kind of introduced that, but the whole idea is identifying any competency gaps that a learner may have. And that can be done through a series of assessments or also maybe in combination with feedback from a manager. And then once a learner has identified any of those competency gaps, it allows them to create a very curated individual learning plan based on those competency gaps, right? If I'm very skilled in one area, do I need to spend time going through the training that covers that if I'm really well skilled? Or is my time better off focusing on the training that's most important to me and that will fulfill those competency gaps? Also, AI is really transforming the landscape when we talk about personalization and adaptive learning paths. So AI can really suggest courses based on the user's role, any goals they have, past performance in their courses, and also their preferred engagement style. So really recommending courses based on the individual learner to make sure they get the right content at the right time and in the format that best suits them. A personalized approach is going to keep your learners more motivated. It's going to shorten their ramp up time and really deliver the best outcomes. Great question, though. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, Matt. And another similar question, someone also asked, can an LMS really improve employee engagement and learning? And the answer is yes, just how, and the response that Matt gave there. But Matt or Avin, anything else you wanted to add to that?
Yeah, I'll also add, and we talked a little bit about these tools in the presentation. And I think when you talk about in-person training or live virtual training, hopefully you have a very engaged trainer that keeps people engaged. When you're doing live virtual training, adding some components such as poll questions or getting people involved or creating breakout rooms to increase discussion, encouraging chat questions all helps. But sometimes that can be difficult to achieve when you have self-paced asynchronous training, such as your traditional online e-learning courses. So we do offer a number of tools that help to drive engagement in those on-demand courses. And one thing that we didn't talk about today, but we have the content creation tool that allows you to create about 40 different interactive formats for your on-demand training. So one example is an interactive video. So instead of them just watching a 30-minute video, maybe the video pauses and asks a knowledge check question, offers additional resources, just keeps them engaged with their keyboard and their mouse that they have to respond and just don't hit play and walk away. So that's just one type of interactive format, but there's 40 different interactive formats. So slide presentation, gamified type learning experiences, flashcards, that kind of thing. And then the other thing we talked about heavily is gamification and social learning tools that you can incorporate into on-demand courses. So things such as awarding a learner with badges, points, levels, and focusing on a leaderboard can really help to drive engagement. I've had a client ask me, does this really work? It seems a little gimmicky, does it really improve outcomes? And the answer is yes. It may seem a little bit, but it does really keep a learner motivated when they know they're earning points and moving up. And it can really drive engagement. And then the social learning tools like collaboration tools and discussion forums and people sharing insights and questions peer reviews, all that can be incorporated to really help drive engagement. So thank you for that question.
Great response, Matt. Another question is, what makes MapleLMS stand out from other learning platforms? Matt or Avin, do you guys want to tackle that one?
Yeah, I'll take that. Actually, there are quite a few things, but I'll try to be brief and touch upon some of the most important items that make MapleLMS different. Um, Starting with integrations. So we've done a great number of integrations with third-party applications, and we understand the importance of integration for an organization. It just makes your life a lot easier. Uh, I'm not sure if there's any LMS out there who can integrate with so many different applications that we've done. So clearly, integration being number one, and most of our integrations would be a two-way integration. So typically, an integration would come with an SSO, a single sign-on, but that's at the basic level. You also get tracking and training data and certification data back within your system of record. So that might be a CRM, that might be an HRMS system, and you have a single centralized view to track those data points. Also, AI-powered personalization and automation. So there's ability to build out intelligent learning paths or learning plans based on an individual's role, skill, or behavior. There are AI-driven assessments which stand out, AI-driven feedback and skill gap analysis. We also talked a little bit about smart nudges, scheduling, and recommendations to drive more engagement. And also, one of our key differentiators is the ability to create microsite. Now, this might be really helpful for a large-scale organization. Well, in some cases, also small-scale organizations, but particularly, let's say, you're a large scale organization, you have presence in different countries, different regions, and have different teams to manage. So our microsites make it easier for you to build out custom branded portals for different audiences. So these could be departments, regions, and partners, and each microsite can have its own catalog, their own courses, some specific set of permissions. Some essential use cases would be for agencies or clients or regions. Um, Also, we offer a flexible licensing model, so we don't, we bill you on an active user concept, which is again helpful. So you're only paying for your active users, not the users who are not engaging within your platform. That's a plus. And clearly, advanced reporting and ROI dashboards, some of that we looked at a few minutes ago. So all those data points together give you a great tool, not just to track, but to predict any future outcomes as well. And we also support mobile learning and offline access. So we offer a fully responsive design and a dedicated mobile app, both for iOS and Android, which supports offline learning, especially valuable for field workers or individuals who are out there in the field or different regions with poor connectivity. Um, Gamification and engagement tools. So these are always great to have. And we keep adding on top of it. So there are existing tools. We keep adding as many as possible. These are helpful to drive engagement. Some of that would be a leaderboard, maybe a badge, a discussion forum, or just a simple plain forum or the leaderboard that we saw. And clearly, one of the biggest differentiators is fast deployment and the white glove support that we provide. So the implementation is quick. We work with our customers' timeline to get the systems implemented. We provide unlimited training, 24/7 support, and also any assistance around configuration. So the customers get a lot of hand holding. They get the support that they really need to run such a system in an effective manner. Obviously, there are a lot more that I can talk about, but briefly, those are a few that come to my mind, which are a key differentiator for MapleLMS. And I'll give it back to you, Joe.
Thank you, Avin. Yeah, we got a number of remaining questions, so I know we're coming up on time, but how easy is it to implement and scale MapleLMS across multiple departments or regions? Matt or
I
Avin,
think
you guys
Avin
want to?
kind of touched upon that a little bit
Yeah.
with the microsite feature, but that's a great way to manage. We also have tools if you just want to create departments and managers. But once you have that built out, if you have microsites for your regions, whether you have 10 learners or 10,000 learners, it's the same amount of effort in terms of the learning and development team and the admin on your LMS. And I think Avon also talked about working quick to implement. Is it easy? Yes, I'd like to think it's easy, but I think you also need to take into account, do you have a lot of content that you first need to create? But we deliver our platform early and we work with our clients to really understand their needs and configure the system so that it meets those needs. Um, so I hope we answered all of that for Victor.
Perfect. And great question here about compliance. How does MapleLMS support compliance training and automatic tracking of certifications? Do Matt or Avin, you guys want to touch on that?
Yeah, I think we talked a little bit about that, and Avon showed a little bit about it. But once you have a compliance course in your LMS, you can set it up so that it automatically needs to be repeated annually, if that's the case, or whatever time frame it is. And the LMS will handle automatic email notifications. A report can go out to the managers or the HR or the compliance team with progress reports and results on that. But it really automates that whole process. And once a learner meets the goals of whatever's needed, then it's going to automatically award any certifications and mark that compliance training completed.
Rick, thank you, Matt. Well, looks like we've addressed all the questions, and I know we've gone a little bit over the top of the hour, so I appreciate you guys all remaining on. We thank you all so much for spending this time with us today, and we hope you feel enlightened and excited about the ROI and potential capabilities that MapleLMS can bring to your organization. If anyone else has any remaining questions, or if you'd like to set up a time to continue this conversation with us, we would be happy to schedule time to connect with you all. Our contact information is right here on the slide, so please feel free to reach out. And thank you all so much again for taking time out of your busy schedules to join us on today's webinar. We hope to catch you on our next webinar in August, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and thank you so much again.